Entry number 35 from Friday, June 19th, 1964, well into the summer of 1964. This is a relatively short one, about a half a page. Tell us what we are looking at here.
Well, the first paragraph reports that we had sent a letter to Mark Lane requesting that he appear before the commission again after he returned from Europe, where he was busily engaged in fostering a controversy about the commission's work. That letter did go out, and he did subsequently appear, I think, in early July. And later it indicates I've been spending a good deal of my time working on a draft of a portion of the Ruby chapter, because I hoped to add this to the materials which we were going to send to the Chief Justice on Friday afternoon. This note was dated Friday, and it was a time often when Mr. Rankin was out of town going to New York to spend the weekend at home. So this entry indicates that I was unhappy with the draft, and that I would be unable to really improve it sufficiently to include it in the package to the Chief Justice. So I ended up sending over two drafts prepared by Mr. Coleman and Mr. Slauson, dealing with Oswald's life in Russia and his contacts with the State Department. Those were two very important elements of the Group 4, a mission to explore conspiracies. And as I previously stated, the contacts with the State Department were a matter of great interest to members of the commission, and still refuse to believe that they didn't accept Oswald's denunciation of his citizenship. So having a report with respect to his life in Russia and the State Department, those were subjects that were very near final treatment, because there were not that many controversies involved in terms of what we knew and what we could report.
You mentioned requesting of the Dallas TV station some of their videotapes, and I just think it might be interesting. We're talking about 1964, before the age of VCRs and things like that. So can you give us a sense of how easy or difficult it would be to watch these recordings, where you would go for that?
Well, that's a fair question. I think I may have mentioned that Al Goldberg took on himself the responsibility of trying to collect materials about the assassination, not only from outlets in Dallas, but national programs as well. And I think he had either set up a room. I think they had to be examined over at the Defense Department. I'm not sure about that, but there was a special room with the cameras and a screen necessary to see. They did not have computers where you could see things received as attachments to email, and you had to move to a facility where the tapes or whatever records could be replayed on appropriate instruments. Yeah. And that's probably too vague for the millennials.
But it's worth noting how difficult what an arduous process that would be to simply watch news coverage of the assassination. So it speaks to the time period, and I'm glad we had a chance to talk about that. All right, we're going to go to the next entry now.